Welcome to the Intrepid Group training video on how to pull envelope curves. Today's video, what I'm going to be showing you is an FMP54. We're going to be using an FXA291 communication box, and we're going to be using device care to connect to the FMP54, pull an envelope curve, and save it. Although I'm using an FMP54 in this video, being that it is a guided wave radar device, this will apply to all the guided wave radar devices, such as the FMP51 and the FMP55. Now, the FMP55, being a special device, is going to have some extra features in it, but this method will work with the FMP55 because it also has guided wave radar. So let's get started with the FMP54. First thing you're going to want to do is unscrew the cover. Take that off, and the next thing we're going to do is remove the LCD display. There's little edges on the side, just grab those, twist it, should pop right off, put it to the side. Next thing you'll see is the CDI port. It's a 4-pin port with a key. Should fit with your FXA291 connector. Just put that in there and then fire up device care. One of the nice features about using the FXA291 with device care is that device care will automatically recognize the device, scan for the correct DTM, and automatically load it without much effort on your part. So all you have to do is hit play here. Device care will search for the device and automatically load the DTM. After a few seconds, device care will pop up and you will see the DTM load and the values start to populate. Once those values are populated, in the bottom left corner it'll say connected. This is how you know you got a live reading. The value should be changing. On the left we have our menu tree, and here this is where you can configure the device. You'll find all the settings for the device right here. In the middle of the screen you'll find the commissioning wizard. It's recommended that when you're doing the initial commissioning of this device that you run the wizard and commission it that way. It's a little bit easier and faster to do it than to go through the menu tree and do everything manually. Underneath the commissioning wizard you'll see the instrument health status. It'll have a green check mark if everything is running okay. Otherwise it will have a diagnostic message that will tell you what's wrong with the device and help you with troubleshooting. The last section here is your live process variables. These are live readings that the device is measuring. I wanted to go through just a couple of the functions of the DTM. The first one is the device report. As per the other video, you can pull a device report in the same method by clicking on the menu at the top and going device report, save device report. In addition to this method, the guided wave radars have another way to pull a device report, and that's using the print button highlighted here. This will save a different style of device report, one that is a little bit easier to read. Either device report, they'll have the same data in them, it'll just be presented a little differently. The next button is the import export button. This allows you to save a configuration file of the device, so you can back this up and restore it later if you mess something up. Or what you can do is, if you have multiple devices that you're commissioning at the same time, you can set one up to a known good state, download the configuration file, and then copy it onto every device after that. It'll help you rapidly commission multiple devices that are all identical. After that, we have the linearization table. This is in case you want to use volumetric measurements instead of linear or level measurements. What you can do is you can linearize your level instead of giving you meters or feet into whatever, liters or gallons. The next button to the right is the record echo curves button. So we're going to click on that. It's going to open up a new tab for us. Once this tab is opened, you'll see right below it in that little red circle, that's going to be our record curve button. So hit that and device care will pull a fresh curve from the device so we can start looking at it. Once that loads up, you'll see the curves in the middle. On the right, we have our parameters box. These are parameters pulled from the device so you can see it without having to go back to the online parameters. Later, when you save the curve, it'll actually save these parameters as the device was configured when this curve was pulled. This is really helpful for us later when we're troubleshooting and we're asking, well, how is this configured at this time? Below the parameters, we have the curves filter. This is where you can select or deselect certain curves that you want to look at. Regardless of your selection, when you save it, it will save all of these curves and we can filter them out later. Lastly, here's the save button. Click that and it'll save the entire curve and all the parameters into a .curves file, and you'll be able to send that off to me. There's one more feature in this video that I wanted to show you, and that's how to record continuous curves. This button here, once you select it, it will start pulling multiple curves one after another and just continually pull curves until you hit the stop button. The button right beside that will allow you to change how often it pulls those curves or criteria for when to pull a curve. Once you hit the record button, let it run for however long you want, hit the stop button, and it will tell you down here on the bottom how many curves you have. Now, I've pre-recorded curves. I have some of these already up,
and this is the screen that I have here for that. You'll see here on the bottom right, there's 152 curves in this recording. Up here on the top, you have the navigation buttons. This will allow you to go forward and backwards through the curves, and it'll tell you which curve you're on. After this, what I'll do is I'll start at the first one, and I'll start clicking through them. And as you can see, you can witness the curves moving, and it looks somewhat like a video. Recording multiple curves like this is really a powerful way to troubleshoot what's happening with the process. In this example here, what the customer is doing is draining the tank to see when their level crosses the threshold and when they're going to lose their signal. We were having issues in this particular install, and recording multiple curves like this really let us troubleshoot by seeing inside the process to see what's happening at a continuous level. It's not mandatory to do this, but it is very, very helpful.